Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to discuss about the 2 mark question and answer from the unit 2, that is infinite impulse response filter. Okay, so already in the previous video we discussed the 2 mark question and answer from the third unit, finite impulse response. If you want to learn that video means, I will give link for that video in the description box. You can refer it. And if you want to learn the lecture videos related with the subject digital signal processing or discrete time signal processing in the name of that particular subject, so the playlist is there. In that playlist, all videos are available in order from unit 1 to unit 3. Okay. So first you see the first question, give the magnitude function of Butterworth filter. What is the effect of varying order n on magnitude and phase response? Okay, it is a question. So already we solved several problems using related with this Butterworth filter and Chebyshev filter. Analog filter also we design, digital also we design. Okay, so what is the magnitude function of the Butterworth filter? Okay, so it's a very important thing. So the magnitude function of Butterworth filter is given by the modulus of h of j omega equal to 1 by square root of 1 plus omega by omega c to the power 2n. Okay, so instead of square root here we may put to the power 1 by 2. Okay, the same thing. So where this omega c, it is said to be the cutoff frequency, omega is the frequency, and capital N is the order of the filter. Okay, and you know the N value, it varies from 1, 2, 3, etc. So this is the magnitude function of Butterworth filter. Okay, and what is the effect of varying the order N on magnitude and phase response? That is a question. So if you are increasing the order N means this magnitude response, it reaches the ideal response. Okay, so you see the graph, this is the magnitude response of the Butterworth filter for various values of order n. So you see this is for n equal to 2. Okay, so you see this is the graph for n equal to 2. Then this is n equal to 6, 8, 12, etc. Okay, so this is the ideal. This dotted line indicates the ideal characteristics. So when we are increasing the n value, when we are increasing the n value, we can get the ideal characteristics. Okay, so that is the thing. So the magnitude response of Butterworth filter closely approximates the ideal response as the order increases. Okay, then the phase response becomes more nonlinear as n increases. Okay, phase response becomes more nonlinear if the order n increases. Okay, this is the thing. Then the next one, why do we go for analog approximation to design a digital filter? Okay, it's a May 2011 question. So in IR filter, so you know the thing, first we are designing the analog filter, and after that, that analog filter we are converting into digital using bilinear transformation impulse invariant method. Okay, so why we are going for that analog approximation to design a digital filter? That is a question. So there are effective filter approximation techniques available in analog domain. Okay, so using the transformation methods, a stable analog filter can be converted into stable digital filter. Okay, and hence it becomes easier to design the IR filter from analog filter. Okay, so that's why for such effective approximations are not available in discrete domain. Okay, so there is a effective filter approximations available in analog domain. So and in bilinear transformation and impulse invariant transformation, we may convert the stable analog filter into stable digital filter. But in there is no straight procedure in order to design the digital stable filter is not available. Okay. Then the next thing, give the properties of Butterworth filter. So it's a November 2006 question. Properties. So you know the magnitude response of the Butterworth filter decreases monotonically as the frequency increases from 0 to infinity. Okay, so just now this is the magnitude response of the Butterworth filter. So you see the magnitude response. The magnitude response as the frequency increases, so it is monotonically decreases. Okay, so that is the first thing. And the magnitude response of Butterworth filter closely approximates the ideal response when the order increases. Okay, if you are increasing the order n means that response is exactly equal to the ideal response. Then the next one, the poles of Butterworth filter lie on a circle. Okay, so the poles of Butterworth filter are always located in a circular manner. Okay, circular manner in a S-plane. So these are all the properties of Butterworth filter. The next question, what is Butterworth approximation? Okay, in Butterworth approximation, so the error function is selected such that the magnitude is maximally flat in the origin and monotonically decreasing with increase in frequency omega. Okay, so so you see the graph. So initially for the frequency 0 to this omega c, initially it is maximum, okay, maximally flat. Then whenever the frequency increases, it monotonically decreases. Okay, so the Butterworth approximation is an error function selected such that the magnitude is maximally flat at the origin and monotonically decreasing with increasing frequency. Okay, then the next thing, similar to Butterworth filter, the next thing, Chebyshev filter. So give the magnitude function of Chebyshev filter. Okay, the magnitude square response of the nth order Chebyshev filter type 1 is given by modulus of h of j omega the whole squared is equal to 1 by 1 plus epsilon squared Cn squared of omega by omega p. If h of j omega means 1 divided by square root of this. This is h of j omega the whole squared. So 1 by 1 plus epsilon squared Cn squared of omega by omega p. Okay. So where epsilon is a parameter of the filter related to the ripple in passband, and the Cn of x is nothing but the Chebyshev polynomial of order n. Okay, where the n varies from 1 to 3 etc. And this Chebyshev polynomial, the Cn of x, can be expanded as the Cn of x is equal to cos of n cos inverse x. Okay, for the x value less than or equal to 1, this is for passband. The Cn of x is equal to cos h of n into cos h inverse x when capital modulus of x is greater than 1. This is for stop band. Okay, this is the Chebyshev polynomial expansion. Okay, and you see this is the magnitude response of the Chebyshev filter. This is type 1. Okay, this is the magnitude response of Chebyshev filter type 1. This is the magnitude response for the Chebyshev filter type 2. So in type 1 you see in pass band, this is the pass band. Okay, 0 to the cutoff frequency, it is a pass band. In pass band, the magnitude response is having ripples. Okay, then in stop band, it is monotonically decreases. Okay, in type 2, you see in pass band, it is constant. In stop band, okay, in stop band, you see we are having some equiripples. Okay, so here in pass band, equiripple is available. Here in stop band, equiripple is available. So this is the response of the Chebyshev filter. Then the next one, give the order of a Chebyshev filter. So while designing the Chebyshev filter, we used all the formulas. Okay, anyway, if it is a Butterworth filter or Chebyshev filter, the first step in the design of the corresponding filter is to we have to find the order n. Okay, so for Chebyshev filter, the order n formula is that n is equal to cos h inverse of square root of 10 to the power 0.1 alpha s minus 1 divided by 10 to the power 0.1 alpha p minus 1 whole thing divided by cos h inverse of omega s by omega p. Okay, so we may use this formula, or otherwise this square root of 10 to the power 0.1 alpha s minus 1, it is called as a lambda. Square root of this is said to be epsilon. So we may use this formula also. Okay, so here what is alpha s? The alpha s is said to be stop band attenuation. Alpha p is a pass band attenuation. Omega p is a pass band frequency. Omega s is a stop band frequency. Okay, so this is the order of the filter. So in order to solve the problem, first you should know this order. Okay, so this is the one of the question. So similarly, the order of the find the order of the Butterworth filter is also one of the question. So if it is in the formula of order of Butterworth filter, instead of this cos h inverse, in that formula there is a log will available. Okay, log of this, that is the answer. That is the Butterworth filter order. Okay, then the next question, how the order of filter affects the frequency response of Chebyshev filter. Okay, so in Butterworth filter we discussed, if the order increases means the Butterworth filter magnitude response that is approximates to ideal response. Okay, similarly, what is the effect of order of the filter n in the frequency response? Okay, so the magnitude response of the type 1 Chebyshev filter, it can be observed that the magnitude response approaches the ideal response as the order of the filter is increased. Okay, same. The order increases means the magnitude response approaches to the ideal response, similar to Butterworth. So if you want to design the exact ideal response, if you want to get the exact ideal response of that particular filter means we may use the order value as a very high. Okay, that is the thing. Give any two properties of Chebyshev filter, or what is Chebyshev approximation? Okay, so this question you see May 2011, December 2011, 2010. Okay, properties of Chebyshev. So we discussed the properties of Butterworth also. Okay, similar to Chebyshev. So in this, so you see the magnitude response of Chebyshev filter, it exhibits a ripple either in pass band or in stop band according to the type. Okay, so just now we discussed, so you see in type 1, in pass band, we are getting equiripple characteristics. In type 2, in stop band, we are getting this oscillation, it is called as the equiripple characteristics. Okay, so either in stop band, either in pass band or stop band, the magnitude response of Chebyshev filter exhibits the ripple. Okay, this is the first thing. Then the next one, the poles of Chebyshev filter, it lie on an ellipse. Okay, so the Chebyshev filter poles are located in which manner means ellipse. Okay, in ellipse shape, the poles are located. In Butterworth filter, the poles are located in a circular manner. Okay, so that is the difference. Then the Chebyshev filters are most effective than Butterworth filter. Okay, so these are all the properties of Chebyshev filter, and we will compare the two filters. Okay, Butterworth and Chebyshev also. This is the properties of Chebyshev filter. Then the next one, write the properties of Chebyshev type 1 filter. Okay, so what is the property, especially for type 1 filter? What is the property means? The magnitude response is equiripple in pass band. Okay, and monotonic in stop band. Okay, so already you know from this graph, if it is a type 1 means the magnitude response has equiripple characteristics in pass band and monotonic decreasing characteristics in stop band. Okay, it is reverse in Chebyshev type 2. Okay, that is the first point. And Chebyshev type 1 filters are all pole design. Okay, all pole design. Then the normalized magnitude function has a value 1 by square root of 1 plus epsilon square at the cutoff frequency omega c. Okay, so at the cutoff frequency, the magnitude reaches the value 1 by square root of 1 plus epsilon squared. Okay, see, at the cutoff frequency, okay, so at the cutoff frequency, the value it reaches 1 by square root of 1 plus epsilon squared. Okay, then the next one, the magnitude response approaches the ideal response as the value of n increases. Okay, the same thing. So these are all the properties of Chebyshev filter, Chebyshev type 1. Similarly, the next thing, sketch the frequency response of odd and even order Chebyshev low pass filter. It's a May 2014 question. So here the question is, we have to draw the frequency response of odd and order Chebyshev filter, even order. That is, if the capital N is odd. For example, capital N equal to 7, okay, 5, 7, 9, 11 means, what about the response? If N equal to N is even, okay, 2, 4, 6 means what is the frequency response? So you see, this is the thing. So what is the difference between if N is odd, if N is even means, if N is odd, so you see, the response, okay, the response starts at value 1. Okay, the h of j omega value is 1 at frequency 0. Okay, similarly, if n is even means, so you see at frequency omega is 0. So what is the value? The value reaches 1 by square root of 1 plus epsilon squared. Okay, so this magnitude response, it starts 1 by square root of 1 plus epsilon squared. But if n is odd, the response starts from the value 1. Okay, this is the difference between if n is odd and n is even. Okay, so here you see, here equiripple characteristics, then monotonic. Similarly, equiripple characteristics, monotonic, but the starting value, it will vary depending upon the n value. Okay, so this is also one of the important 2-mark question. It's a May 2014 question. Okay, so you just draw this. Then the next thing, draw the response curve for Butterworth and Chebyshev filters. Okay, or response curve for Butterworth and Chebyshev. It's a May 2015 and 7 question. So already we discussed it separately. So here you just draw combinedly. So you see, this is the frequency magnitude response or frequency response of Butterworth filter. Okay, so the h of j omega versus the omega. Okay, so in up to the cutoff frequency, it's a pass band. This is stop band. When the order increases, the response reaches the ideal characteristics. Okay, this is the response of Butterworth. Similarly, this is the response of Chebyshev, type 1 and type 2. Okay, so in type 1, the response is having ripple characteristics. In type 2, the response is having ripple characteristics in stop band. Okay, so you just draw this graph. That is one of the 2-mark question. Then the next one, distinguish between Butterworth and Chebyshev filter. Okay, so it's a December 2014 and May 2012 question. We have to compare the Butterworth filter and Chebyshev filter. Okay, so already we discussed the separately. So now we have to combine it. That's all. So in Butterworth filter, so already you know the magnitude response of Butterworth filter decreases monotonically as the frequency increases from 0 to infinity. Yes, correct. But here in Chebyshev filter, the magnitude response of Chebyshev filter exhibits ripples in either pass band or stop band according to the type. That is the difference. Here monotonically decreases, but here the Chebyshev filter exhibit ripples. Okay, ripple means like that oscillation like characteristics is available in either pass band or stop band. Okay, and the next one, the transition band is more in Butterworth filter. Transition band means that is the pass band to stop band conversion. The transition band is more in Butterworth, but the transition band is less. Okay, minimum in Chebyshev. Then already know the poles of Butterworth filter lie on a circle. Okay, in circular manner the poles are located. Here the poles of Chebyshev filter that lie on an ellipse. Okay, in elliptical manner the poles of Chebyshev filter is located. And the next one, for the same specification, the number of poles in Butterworth is more when compared to Chebyshev. Okay, for the same specification, if you are designing Butterworth as well as Chebyshev means the number of poles is used is more when compared to Chebyshev. But here the order of the Chebyshev filter is less than that of the Butterworth. Okay, this is the greatest advantage of designing the Chebyshev. So here the order is more, here the order is less. So order is less means number of components used to design the correspond used to implement the filter is automatically decreases. Okay, so this is the comparison between Butterworth and Chebyshev filter. Then the next question, define pass band. Okay, so you know in the filter characteristics, there is a pass band and stop band is there. So it is also one of the 2-mark question, November, December 2015 question. So pass band means the range of frequencies over which the filter can pass through it. It is called as a pass band. Then what is stop band? Stop band means the range of frequency over which the filter it cannot pass. Okay, it will block the frequency through it. That is called as a stop band. Then the next one, what are the requirements of digital filter to be stable and causal? Or state the condition for digital filter to be causal and stable. Okay, so already we discussed this question. Okay, so in signals and system also, okay, the same thing. What are the requirements for one filter to be stable and causal? Okay, so the system function of the digital filter, it should satisfy the following condition to be as causal and stable. So what is the condition means? So first one, ROC. ROC, you know, region of convergence. Okay, so we can define this question using various methods. So one method is in terms of impulse response, we can define. Another one in terms of pole location, we can define. In terms of ROC, we can define. So here we are going to define in terms of ROC. Okay, if the ROC of the system is exterior of the circle of radius R means, so that system is called as a causal system. Okay, so for a causal system, the region of convergence of system function is exterior of the circle. Then for a stable system, the ROC must include unit circle. Okay, if the ROC region of convergence include the unit circle, we can call it as a stable system. So for both stable and causal, so you see, for causal system, modulus of Z, it should be greater than R. Then if it is a stable system, the R value, it should be less than 1. So combinedly, we can call it as a modulus of Z greater than R, but R should be less than 1 means this is the condition for the digital filter to be stable and causal. Okay. The next question, what is the importance of poles in filter design? So in filter design, what is the importance of poles? Okay. So the stability of filter is related to the location of poles. Okay. So already we know the stability. Okay. The stability of filter is always related with the location of poles. Okay. So if the poles are located in left half of the S-plane means it is said to be the stable filter. If the poles are located in the right half of the S-plane means we are calling it as an unstable filter. So you see, for a stable analog filter, the poles should lie on the left half of the S-plane. Similarly, for a stable digital filter, for analog filter, we are related with S-plane. For a stable digital filter, the poles should lie inside the unit circle in Z-plane. Okay, so that's why the pole location is very important in order to design the filter. So in order to design that is a stable filter means so all poles, if it is analog filter, the poles lie on a left half of the S-plane. In a digital filter means the poles should lie inside the unit circle. Okay, so this is the thing. Then the next question, how one can design digital filter from analog filter? Okay, so how can you convert the analog filter into digital filter? Okay, so already you know the thing. So first one, what is the first step? So we have to map the desired digital filter specification into equivalent analog filter specification. Okay, then we have to derive the analog prototype, either Butterworth approximation or Chebyshev approximation. We have to, using that, we have to find the analog transfer function H of S. Okay, that is the next thing. Then third one, we have to transform the transfer function of analog prototype into equivalent digital filter transfer function, that is H of S, we have to convert into capital H of Ez using the various transformation technique like impulse invariant method and bilinear transformation, etc. Okay, so this is the steps to be followed in order to design digital filter from analog. Okay, then the next thing, what are the requirements for converting stable analog filter into stable digital filter? Okay, so in order to convert into stable digital filter from stable analog filter, what are the requirements we needed? Okay, so you see the poles in left hand side of S plane should be mapped inside the unit circle. Since you know, if it is an analog filter, if the poles are located in the left half of the S plane means that is a stable filter. In Z plane, okay, in digital filter, all poles are located inside the unit circle means we are calling it as a stable filter. So the left half side of S-plane poles are mapped inside the unit circle. Similarly, the poles in the right hand side of S-plane should be mapped outside the unit circle. then the imaginary axis of S-plane should be mapped on the unit circle. Okay, so these are all the requirements to be followed in order to convert the stable analog filter into stable digital filters. Then the next question, what are the methods used for digitizing analog filter into digital filter? Okay, so what are the methods in order to convert analog filter, the Butterworth filter or Chebyshev filter into the corresponding digital filter? What are the methods we needed? So May 2018 and November 2006 question. So there are 4 methods are there. One is impulse invariant technique, bilinear transformation technique, approximation of derivative, matched Z transform. So in that we discussed the first 3 methods. Okay, impulse invariant method, bilinear transformation technique. We solved several problems. Okay, so this 2 problem is this second unit. If we want to learn how to design the digital filter using this impulse invariant method and bilinear transformation technique method, so in my channel, okay, so that is in the name of discrete time signal processing, the playlist is there. In that playlist, so the second unit videos are all available in order from design of analog Butterworth, the design of analog Chebyshev, then how to convert using impulse invariant bilinear transformation. Okay, so nearly the 20 problems we solved. So you go and watch. I will give link for that videos in the description box. You can refer it. Okay, then the next question, give the steps in the design of digital filter from analog filter. It's a December 2013 question. So how can you convert the analog filter into digital filter? So the first one, the digital filter can be obtained from analog using either bilinear transformation or impulse invariant technique. Okay, if it is a bilinear transformation, simply we have to replace S with 2 divided by T, 1 minus Z inverse by 1 plus Z inverse. We can get the transfer function H of Z. Okay, so we have to substitute S equal to this in H of S. We can get H of Z. Okay, that is a method. But in impulse invariant method, we have to map. That is 1 by S minus the pole. K means it can be converted into 1 by 1 minus e power pkt into Z inverse. Okay, so in that case, we have to convert. Okay, so these are all the steps to be followed in the design of digital from analog. Okay, so the remaining 20 questions we will discuss in the next video. Okay, so thanks for watching my channel and please subscribe my channel for more videos. Okay, so if you want to learn the lecture videos related to the subject, I will give link for the subject in subject playlist in the description box. You can refer it. Okay, so thank you. We will meet in the next video with the remaining 20 questions.